everybody? I'm Clayton. You're listening to Ages of Fear podcast number 33, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974. Directed by Tobe Hooper, starring Marilyn Burns, Gunnar Hansen, Jim Siedow, and Paul Partain. The budget for the film was approximately $100,000. The movie grossed a total of $30.8 million, giving it a net gain of $30.7 million. Those are the numbers, folks, for TCM, the OG, son. Yeah, what's up, everybody? Hope you're doing well wherever you are out there. I want to say what's up to all my new subscribers. Thank you very much for joining Ages of Fear, coming over to the dark side and kicking it with us. Appreciate it very much. If you're new to my channel, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, jab that notification button if you're enjoying the content. Also, if you're a horror fan, go check out Movies and Beyond with Michael. The guy's a great dude. He's got a great channel. He puts out great content all the time. He's always dropping stuff. You can now be a member of Movies and Beyond as well. So go do that. Join the club, man. Get in on all the action. Show Michael and Movies and Beyond some love. Hit that subscribe button. Join the family and enjoy all of Michael's awesome content. Also, while you're at it, might want to go check out the Bearded Entertainment as well with Eric. Also has some great content over there on his channel. Another horror channel for all you freaks out there to feast on. So yeah, go give those guys some love. Also, if you're a fan of movies in general, check out Brian Lomax's awesome channel as well. He does all kinds of movies. He's currently reviewing different Oscar award winners over the years. But he's got ranking videos. He's got live streams. He's got horror film reviews as well. He's got it all. Brian's a freak, man. He's a great dude. Great people. Go check out his awesome channel. Give him a like. Give him a sub. You know the deal. What's up? All right, let's get into the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We're going to start a TCM review series. If you're new to my channel, I've already done a Nightmare review series, gone through all the Nightmare movies, given my thoughts on them. I've done a Friday the 13th review series, gone through all the Friday movies, given my thoughts on them. I've done some one-offs as well, but now we're starting TCM, buddy. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You're up the bat, so let's go. Let's kick it with this first TCM movie, 1974. It's a classic, you know. It's got a mad following. There's some, dude. Let me tell you, the TCM fan base is pretty legit, man. People that are diehard fans of TCM, they go all in, bro. They leave nothing on the table. They go all in, and I respect it. I'm from Texas. I live in Texas, so we get a lot of them, a lot of TCM fans down here, and I love it. I think it's awesome. I love seeing the love that different horror franchises get. TCM, if you're new to my channel, haven't been kicking it with me for a while, TCM is not my favorite horror franchise. But I do like a number of the movies in this franchise. They've got some bangers. They got like my favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, which I'll talk about when we get to it, is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. So it's definitely got some hitters for sure. But overall, as a franchise, it's not my favorite horror franchise, but I do like a number of these movies. So, yeah, if you're a diehard TCM fan, if this is like your franchise, hopefully you will enjoy this review series. But just as a reminder, this is just my opinion on these movies. There's no need to be offended by anything that I say, to be, put off by anything I say. It's just my opinion. All right, I always keep it real with you guys. Always keep it 100 in Ages of Fear. Give you guys my honest thoughts. And when I talk about a movie, when I talk about the negatives of a film, I just want to mention that it's nothing personal against the movie or against fans of the movie. I get that there's always fans of, whatever movie that I review on this channel, there's always going to be fans of that movie. So when I review it and talk about the negatives and stuff like that, it's nothing against the fans or the people that enjoy the movies. I'm just giving my honest feedback and my honest thoughts on the films. So just as a disclaimer, no need to get bent out of shape about anything that I say. Just my thoughts, dude. Kick it. All right, so getting into the positives with TCM OG 1974, there is a lot that I like about this movie. So I want to just say, though, with this first TCM, the first time that I saw Texas Chainsaw 74, I was not a fan. I was not a fan at all. I didn't like it. I didn't care for it. I didn't think it was well made. I didn't think it was really all that scary. I was bored with it. I didn't care for any of the characters. And for a while, I wasn't a fan of this movie. Over the years, as from the first time I saw this until just this last time I watched it for this review, it's grown on me. It's grown on me, and I've come to actually now like this movie quite a bit. I'm not sure what it was, why I didn't like it the first time I saw it. I think it's because I was viewing it through the wrong lens, and I was watching it in a way that it wasn't meant to be watched or viewed. So, as over the years, as I've come back to this movie and watched it from a different perspective, it's actually enhanced my viewing experience with the film. And that's what I want to talk about first with the positive. And one of the best positives with this movie for me is the tone and the atmosphere of this movie. This is a movie that is saturated in tone and atmosphere. It's a grimy, gritty, dark, somber tone in this movie. Even the way the movie is shot, the lens that's used in this film, it's a very gritty, grainy type of feel to it. And that's the way it's supposed to be. What Tobe Hooper is trying to do is immerse you into this story and into the setting. And if you can get there and allow yourself to go there with this movie, it's a hell of a ride. But I love coming back to it. I love the tone and the atmosphere of this movie. It feels like Texas. It looks like Texas. You feel like you're there with these characters. It's dark. It's just dirty and gritty, and that's exactly the feeling that you're supposed to have when you come to this movie. So that's something that I didn't appreciate the first time I saw it. I viewed the tone the first time I saw it as a negative. I didn't like the look. I didn't like how the film was shot, but I failed to realize that it was intentional. And that's the way that this film is supposed to look for the sake of the experience that you're supposed to have with the film. So now that's a strong positive for me, is the tone and the atmosphere of this movie. Love it, dude. And also the experience. This movie is meant to be an immersive experience. It's the whole movie is built on the experience of this film. If you don't have the ability to immerse yourself into this movie, it's not going to work for you. It's not going to work for you, and you're not going to like it. You're not going to enjoy it. This movie was meant to be an immersive experience. It doesn't have a great story. It doesn't necessarily have great characters, but that's not what it's built on. It's built on the experience. You have to be able to view this film through the lens of a first person character that is going on this journey with these other characters. You're supposed to immerse yourself into this story, into this atmosphere, and go on this ride. It's like going to an amusement park and going on a roller coaster, which I love roller coasters. It's like going on like the craziest roller coaster that's going through these tunnels and has all this like immersive experience for you. If you're just looking at the roller coaster from afar and you're just looking at the design of the coaster, it might not look all that aesthetically good or aesthetically pleasing. And there's things that you can pick apart about the coaster. But until you get on the ride and actually go on the roller coaster and experience it, you see it from a whole different perspective, and it becomes a really fun ride for you. That's the best way that I can describe TCM 74. Is it's an immersive experience. It's a roller coaster that you're meant to just let go of and just get on the ride and go on the journey. And if you can do that, like I said, it's a heck of a time, and very enjoyable. I also love the opening scene to this movie. The way that it's narrated in the beginning it gives you the feeling or the impression that this is real. Like this is a real story that actually happened, real events, real characters. And I love that. It's dark, it's gritty, and then you have just the flashes of these body parts, that sounds like a camera roll showing you the different body parts and different victims. And then you just see the skeletons on the tombstone in the cemetery, and you hear the news report in the background. All of that whole opening scene, badass, man. Awesome stuff there. Love it. It's grimy, it's gritty, it's dirty, and it's setting the tone for you in this movie, and I love it. It opens up with the idea of an immersive experience. It's screaming that in your face from the very beginning. It's telling you how to view the movie from the beginning. And I love how this movie is shot, the opening scene, getting into that tone, getting into the roller coaster, getting the seat latch coming down on you, knowing what's coming. It's a blast, man. I love it. I also love Leatherface in this movie, played by Gunnar Hansen, the OG Leatherface. Still a lot of people's favorite Leatherface. I gotta say, he's not my favorite Leatherface, but he's up there. He's up there. He's one of my favorites. I think he does a great job. I love the look of Leatherface, the butcher look. Not a big fan of the suit and tie look towards the end of the movie, but the butcher look, rock, dude. Love it. Good stuff there. Love the look. I thought he played the role well. He was big. He was intimidating. He was aggressive, and he's got some moves, bro. I mean, he was almost outrunning the lead girl in the film, and he was scary. Like Gunner was legitimately scary and imposing in this film. He's not a dude you want to run into in the woods, you know. And everyone's different on what they find scary and intimidating and imposing. Some people find Pamela Voorhees scarier than Jason, which to me just blows my mind. Like that, to me, that's ludicrous. That's ridiculous. But some people are more afraid of Pamela Voorhees than Jason. For me, I've got to view the antagonist, the killer, the bad guy, the villain. I got to view him in a way where I would actually be intimidated or opposed by him if I actually came across him in real life, because I'm a martial artist, you know. I've trained in different arts. You know, I have my background. Like, I'm not going to be afraid of an old woman like Pamela Voorhees that's just coming at me with a knife. To me, that's, you know, I know I can take her easily. Like, you know, it's not, for me, they've got to be a genuine threat. They've got to be a genuine threat. For me to feel any type of fear of them, they've got to be a legitimate threat. And Gunnar Hansen as Leatherface, he's a big boy, dude. He's a big boy. He could throw down. And plus he's wielding that chainsaw. Yeah, that's not a dude I want to mess with. I'm not looking to fight Leatherface. I'm not looking to fight, you know, Derek Mears Jason. No, dude. I ain't about that. Pamela Voorhees, whatever. Yeah, so Leatherface, I'm a fan of. I can kick it with Gunnar Hansen as Leatherface. I thought he does a good job. Love the look. So yeah, he was a positive for me as well. Also, the cinematography. And if you would have asked me about the cinematography the first time I saw this movie, wasn't a fan. Wouldn't have told you that, you know, it was good photography. Again, over the years, coming back to this movie, I actually appreciate it now. I actually appreciate the cinematography and what they were actually doing with the camera and the, you know, Hooper was trying to shoot this film in a very gritty, a very gritty way, and trying to shoot it. He knew exactly how he wanted to shoot this film. And again, when you can immerse yourself into the experience of the film, I think you can appreciate the cinematography much more. This episode is sponsored by Monster. Fuel yourself. Yeah, I actually do like the cinematography. It looks Texas-ish. It looks very much like Texas. Was actually shot in Texas. And yeah, I actually think the cinematography fits the tone of the film. So the cinematography for me now is a positive. So moving on to the negatives with this film, there are still some negatives I do have with it. One of them is with the characters. I personally not really a fan of the characters in this movie. I don't really get invested with these characters. To me, they're just a group of young adults that are apparently just going on a road trip to one of their old family houses. But none of these characters show me anything for me to necessarily like them, if that makes sense. Like, we don't have much background on any of these characters. So we have to make up our minds about these characters based on what we actually see of them in the movie. And based on what we see and what we get of them, there's not really anything there for me to, invest. I don't really care about these characters. And to me, I like being able to buy in to characters. I like having characters that I want to pull for. I want to cheer for. I want to go on the ride with them. And I want to see them and make it out, So, and for me, we just didn't get that. I didn't really care about any of the characters in this movie. So, yeah, I would have liked some more likable characters, I guess, or more entertaining characters. Again, they weren't. I've said it before, I don't necessarily have to like the characters, but if I'm not going to like them, I want to at least be entertained by them. And they didn't bring much charisma or energy to the screen for me. Some people, buy in hook, line, and sinker, and they're fully invested, and that's cool. We all have our own subjective experience with film. So if you are someone that does get into these characters and buy into it, totally respect it, man. It just didn't really do it for me. So the characters for me would be a negative. The story, again, pretty weak when it comes to story. There's not really any story here other than these young people are going, going on a road trip to a house to see, an old family house or home or whatever, back in the sticks of Texas. So, and they get, killed off by this crazy butcher. That's pretty much it, man. As far as story goes, there's not, it's not much of a story there, really. The story for me isn't a big negative because, again, I get what Hooper was doing. He was trying to make this an immersive experience. And so I can kind of forgive it for, the lack of a good story there. Because now when I come to this movie, I just immerse myself into the story and into that journey specifically. So yeah, it's not a big negative, but again, I've said on my channel multiple times, I'm big into character and story are like the two main things I care about. And I feel like this movie lacked having any real gripping, good storytelling there. So it's really meant to be more like a documentary of the events that happened in this massacre. I get it. But other negatives I have, I do feel like this movie has dated itself a little bit. Some of the effects from 1974 don't really hold up well today. And I get, that Hooper only had $100,000 budget. So he could, you can't really afford gripping effects with $100,000 budget in 1974. It's just not going to happen. So I don't fault it too hard for that because I get the budget. I get the time that it was made in. But when you're watching it in 2024, it doesn't really hold up that well. Some of the effects, like the kills when he puts the girl on the meat hook, you don't really even get to see it. And some of the shots with the broomstick and some of it just doesn't really hold up well. The effects for me just not really there. Another thing, this is one of the bigger issues I had with the film. This may be actually my biggest negative with the movie, and it's with how the treatment of Leatherface in the second half of this film. Not so much the character, the look or the performance, although I'm not a fan of the suit and tie look. But they go from making Leatherface this really imposing, intimidating, badass character, butcher character in the first half, chasing down these victims, killing them off one by one. And then in the second half, when we're in the house, the Sawyer house, he's just kind of like being bullied by his dad, I guess, like the older gentleman, the guy from the gas station. He's kind of like bullying Leatherface around and giving him orders and stuff like that. I'm not a fan of that, man. Like, to me, you don't boss Leatherface around. You don't bully Leatherface. To me, Leatherface should be the most frightening character, and he should be the character that even the other family members are afraid of. And he should be the one, that, like, the main, bad dude in the film. I don't like seeing Leatherface kind of pushed around and bullied like that in the movie. I would rather see the other Sawyer family members afraid of Leatherface. That's what I would have preferred to see. Because they build him really strong in the first half. They use him really well. You're on board. You're frightened by this dude. And then the way that he's treated and handled in the second half, I feel like just kind of takes me out of that experience for me. And then I guess the only other negative is some of the script. There's some script issues, some of the dialogue, like the fact that the main girl and her brother, they wait for hours until it's night to go look for their friends. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna wait for 4 or 5 hours until the moon is out at night before I go looking for my friends. If they're not back in 45 minutes to an hour, I'm gonna go look for them. All right. The fact that they waited until it was total dark outside to go look doesn't make any sense. It makes absolutely no sense. And then the guy's like, well, what if we get lost? But if they're supposed to be at the house where they grew up in, why would they be getting lost? Like, they should know that house, they should know that area of land pretty well. They grew up there. We see the one guy tell the friends exactly where the pond was for them to go swimming. So they should know that land pretty well. So why would they be getting lost? There's a couple script issues in it like that for me as well. But overall, guys, I do like this movie. It has grown on me. It has won me over. I am a fan of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre now. And I do enjoy it. So my overall rating of this movie is 3.5 stars. It is a good film. I do enjoy it quite a bit now, coming at it from a more immersive experience, first person point of view, rather than watching it just from the outside as a film, So yeah, 3.5 stars for Texas Chainsaw 1974. But what are your thoughts? Let me know your thoughts on this movie in the comment section. What would you rate it? What was your initial impression of the movie? Do you remember seeing it the first time? Anything and everything you want to let me know in the comment section, go for it. Also, this is 50 years of TCM. 1974 to 2024, 50 years of Texas. Let me know some of your favorite Texas moments, Texas movies, Texas characters. 50-year anniversary, man. It's a classic. It still holds up, and it's garnered a huge fan base. So thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Ages of Fear. And until next time, you know what it is. Kick it and rock on.